YouTube? This is Saffron DP for all, and I have a comic review for you. Today I'm reviewing Chew, published by Image, written by John Layman, art by Roy Guillory. Fuck these names. That hard to pronounce. He looks French. Sorry, I'm looking like he did a little illustration of himself on the back, and he looks kind of French. Guillory, is that a French name? Just kidding. Um, so yeah, this is. I don't know what kind of genre you would put on this, but this is basically. I would say it's like a dark comedy, crime, fantasy book. God damn, that's a fucking tongue twister right there. Not really. Okay, this book is about Tony Chu, detective. They don't really say where. Um, I'm gonna guess probably New York. A lot of these books take place in New York. Um, I don't think. Maybe it's New York. I have no fucking idea. Um, but Tony Chu, he's not a regular detective. He's a Cebopath, and you're probably asking me, what the fuck is a Cebopath? Basically, it's Tony Chu has the power to eat something, and then from that one bite, he knows everything about the thing he's eating, like all like the history, blah blah blah, all this shit. Like if he eats an apple, he knows what tree it grew from, what pesticides was used, who picked it, where it went, blah blah blah. And the same thing goes for animals, even people. And there is cannibalism in this book, which is always. I don't know what's with these books where they have like a really light, like cartoony art style, and there's really dark tones in the book. I don't know what's up with that. That like this is like Deadpool Max did that. Skull Kickers did that. Trying to think of other shit. Not really hack slash. Kinda hack slash, but that's a horror comedy. So of course there's gonna be dark tones when it has a kind of wacky art style. Mm. Um. So it's basically like a crime story, but he solves cases, blah blah blah. And another thing, in this book, in the universe, there's a huge conspiracy. Millions of people died, and it's and the government said it was from an avian flu caused by chickens, and because of this, chickens are banned. And not only do the cops regulate all chicken crime, but you have the FDA. But instead of Federal Drug Agency, it's Food and Drugs Agency. And something happens, and Chu gets recruited by another Cebopath, Savoy, who is a cross between what's his name? Orson what's his Orson Welles? I almost said Orson Scott Card. Orson Welles and a grizzly bear. Um who is another Cebopath. There's only 3 recorded Cebopaths in the world, and he joins the FDA, where he has to solve crimes by eating like shit that's like rotted, that's decayed, like gross, the grossest shit you could imagine. And wow, I really wouldn't want to be him. Oh, another thing, he there is one thing he can eat without getting that that deep that tongue. I can't talk today. If I knew how to audio edit, I would edit that shit out, but I don't. Sorry. Um, there's one thing he can eat without his power going off. It's beets. Beets. What the fuck is a beet anyway? It's like I think it's like some kind of vegetable. Holy shit. Mm. What the fuck? That negates his power. And a lot of interesting things is apparently fire mixes up the Cebopath ability. That's interesting. Um, he also there's another character. His love interest. His who what's her name? What's her name? It's been a while since I read it. I read it twice. You think I would know this shit? Her name is Amelia something. Oh, let's just say Amelia. Um, Amelia has another power where she can describe like a food, like how it tastes, all that shit, and like you can get that, and you can taste it in your mouth. Like you literally taste it, what she's describing, which can be a good thing or a bad thing, as you will see if you read this book. And that's one of the many reasons why Tony Chu loves her. Mm. Besides from the crime and love story, there's this huge conspiracy, and you're wondering, are we ever gonna find out what all that is about? And not in this book. This book is only 5 issues long. I will say in it, I will say like I'm not really into these kind of books. Um, I've heard good things. I only really bought it because it was $12.50, and that is a really good price on a trade paperback. Mm. That's really cheap. Usually it's like standard. Usually looking to pay like $20 for a soft cover. If it's a hardcover, like 25, maybe more. So like 12.50, I couldn't like. It made some decent reading, and it was decent. I did like it. There's not if you're one of those guys that like action like me in his comic books. There are action, but there is action, but it's like it ends almost as quickly as it starts, and there's not that much action. There's like one scene where Savoy fights ninjas, which was pretty badass. Um, there's another scene where you have like squad try to do like a takedown, like a raid kind of thing, which was cool. But that was only like one page, I think. There was a lot going on in that one page. Mm. I as cool as this comic is, like I really do like it. Like you have cool characters. I do like the dialogue. Um, there are some funny moments. I do like the art style, and I did like the fact it was really cheap. And you have a really interesting conspiracy, which I kind of want to know. Is it? And there's also this conspiracy in the book where there's this organization called Egg that's trying to that thinks like the government is lying about chickens, like that it wasn't chickens, they're covering something up, and you're wondering, a is the government lying, and B, what are they lying about? It's wow, like it would like, and I don't remember exactly how many people died. But it was like it was like 100 million something. It, so fuck. Hmm. There aren't really there aren't really any straight up villains in the book until the end, but I do not want to spoil it because there's like a huge plot twist. But I already went over my likes. You know, the unique story, cool characters, funny moments, cool art style, really cheap, cool really interesting conspiracy. Now we're gonna go with my dislikes. Light moments when there are really dark tones. Like I don't like I brought this up in one of my anime reviews where I don't know why a book feels the need like why do you have to be comedic when you have really dark tones? But then again, I guess so to keep the book from being depressing. Which you know what I'm gonna take that off as a dislike. Cause if it was depressing, like people would not read it. I guess. Cause that's why I stopped reading Walking Dead. Cause it got really depressing. I don't care how good something is. If you're gonna make me feel like shit after reading it, I don't care how good it is. It could be like Shakespeare level. I'm gonna stop reading. Mm. And to be honest, The Walking Dead is a good book, but it's kind of like I don't like the dialogue. The dialogue was kind of weak to me. Same as some of the characters. Then again, we're not doing Walking Dead review. We're doing. I'm not talking about the TV show. I love the TV show. I'm talking about the comic. But this. Yeah, I'm giving it a pass. Cause sometimes you need a little bit light with the dark. Like a book doesn't have to be dark all the time, and a book doesn't have to be always light. You know what? It has a good balance. So yeah, you know what? That's a like right there. What the fuck fell? Um, let's go with my other ones. Huge plot hole. But I'm gonna save the plot hole for last. There are puns in this book. A lot of puns. Now, when it comes to puns, this is either like if you're into that kind of thing or if you're not into that thing. I'm not into that. I fucking like puns. Once in a while, it's alright, but there's a shitload of puns, and I fucking hate puns. But some people like pun humor. Like, if you like puns, then it's a like. If you don't like puns, it's a dislike. And there's a huge plot hole. Basically, a lot of the book, Tony Chu is trying to figure out who murdered, like, this health inspector, and you find out at the end. But the thing is, he ate like a piece of the health inspector. Wouldn't he have known already who the killer was? But no, he only found out when he had a little bit of the of blood from the killer, and that's how he figured out who the killer was. No, you like, come on, you ate a piece of the guy who was murdered. Wouldn't you be able to see his last moments and find out who killed him? It wasn't like the guy who killed was blindfolded. They even show you that he wasn't blindfolded. He was looking straight at his killer. And like how you didn't figure that out like sooner, I don't know. That's a huge plot hole to me. That is a fucking huge plot hole. So I'm already gonna take off marks for that. And I don't know. Maybe it's there's a thing where it doesn't like you can't. I don't know. Where it doesn't. The power doesn't work. Like it doesn't show you how something's killed. Like maybe it doesn't show you that. I don't. Well, if it didn't work, they didn't tell me that. Okay. So maybe they mention that later on in the series. I don't know. I'm going off what I know in this book, in the universe that it told, and the rules that it's set to me in this book, and that is a huge fucking plot hole. So that I'm gonna have to give marks off for that. I'm just gonna give it a low must own, which is still like that's still like a 3.5 out of 5 with my rating system. A regular must own is like a 4, but like a low must own, I take like half a point off for that, so it only gets a 3.5 out of 5. That's how my rating system works. So yeah, I can only give it a must own. Like it's a good book, but there's a huge plot hole. Um, and usually I give some sway when it comes to plot holes. But if it's a plot hole that that takes away from the climax of your book, like that was at the end of the book. That was the end of the arc. I'm gonna have to take points away from it. That's all I gotta say. See you later, YouTube.